Hi, Anthony's vlog. It's been a couple of weeks since I've done one of these, and tonight I thought I would follow up on a promise I'd made and do what I'm calling the Ghost Adventures Aftermath, what's happened since Harold's appearance on the Island of the Dolls with Zach and Aaron and the Ghost Adventures crew. I'd like to start off by saying that when I agreed to allow the Ghost Adventures crew to have Harold with them at the Island of the Dolls, I was actually hoping for a bit more of an investigation than was done, because I really wanted to know what was going on in the doll, or with the doll, in the doll, and the nature of the spirit trapped within the doll. And I say spirit because at that time, I believe there was only one spirit in the doll, and he was trapped in there because he was accused of murdering his younger sister. I told my friend and author, Kalila Smith, that after the Ghost Adventures episode aired, I would know what direction to take my investigation of the doll in. And that's exactly what happened. I didn't quite get the results or the investigation I wanted. No disrespect to the Ghost Adventures crew whatsoever. You know, they did what they had to do. But personally, I was hoping for a bit more. Consequently, I bought my own equipment. You see some of it here. There's a REM pod, an Ovilus 4, an SB7 Spirit Box. I have a digital recorder. I have a number of other things that I purchased in order to do my own investigation on the doll. When a woman from Australia contacted me on Facebook Messenger saying that her son saw an image of Harold on her iPad and panicked, telling her that the mommy wants the children to come out and play in the sunshine, but they can't. She did tell me that her son, who was 6 years old at the time, was moderately to severely autistic, so she didn't know if that meant anything to me. I will say this. At the time, she had not seen the Ghost Adventures episode. She still has not seen, to this day, the Ghost Adventures episode, and has no intention of seeing the Ghost Adventures episode. In fact, she's been trying to keep her contact with the doll to a minimum. Unfortunately, that didn't work, because things escalated for her son, slowly getting worse, until he got to the point that even though her family is not Roman Catholic, I suggested she bring in a Roman Catholic priest to bless their home, which they did at the end of February. And immediately after she contacted me to tell me that the blessing was done, I did my own binding ritual on the doll, closed up the bag, and thought the whole thing was done. And they thought so too for about 2 weeks, when their son started acting out again and was complaining of something much more evil, much more malevolent, harassing him. Well, I helped the mother collect evidence, and I then had her call the same priest back to their home, and this time tell the priest that the son might be diabolically oppressed. He came out with another priest. They started their initial assessment, and a couple, 3 hours later, went out and based on their interview of the mother and the father and of the young boy, requested permission from their bishop to conduct a deliverance ritual immediately. Now, just before that deliverance ritual was conducted at that home, I was doing a vlog and I was going to introduce my St. Michael statue into the vlog when what happened was that it turned upside down, or I heard a sound and found it upside down in that space between the nightstand and the mattress. Now the space is so tight that the statue was wedged in this area right here, the bottom of the statue, with one of its wings broken off. I determined later on, some light anomalies shooting by, that the only way that could have happened, since the statue was at least 15 to up to 19 inches away from the edge of the mattress, is that it was picked up and forcibly shoved into that little space. It was then I conceded that there was a demon involved, which I have resisted the idea since first hearing that back in 2004 when I first got the doll. Since that time, I, with the help of my young friend, have been able to identify the demon here in this artwork, which was created by my good friend Melanie Blystra, an artist in New Mexico, based on a vision she saw of what was going on in the doll. So my young friend, I'm calling him Vincent, even though that's not his real name, has given me the name of the demon. And this demon's name appears in the Bible. He's given me the name, actually, not given me the name, but helped me identify this entity right here. I should also give credit to Larry Dutro, who also had his own vision and had a professional sketch made of what he saw. And with the help of the sketch and my young friend Vincent, I not only have been able to identify this entity right here, I have pictures of him when he was alive. I know how he died. I know where he died. I know when he died. Also, with Larry and Melanie's help, as well as Vincent's help, I've been able to identify this young child here. I know who that young child is, and I also have pictures of that young child. And I've been able to identify the young woman behind that child. The only thing I'm not clear about is who this is. And to be honest with you, I may never be clear about it. My goal is to do as Vincent asked and release those three spirits from the doll, who are, as he calls them, stuck. Now, I finally want to say that after the deliverance ritual in Australia, a young 3-year-old child in Baltimore, Maryland, started talking about her imaginary friend. I sent her father the sketches Larry had done, or had done by a professional artist, as well as the portraits of these two individuals here. When he showed her the portrait of this entity here, this man here, she immediately identified him as Harold, as her imaginary friend, Harold. Of course, to her, he was an imaginary. She even said, he comes to visit her, and at the time they were talking, he was in her room. Her father, I should say, was so freaked out, he literally got up, walked out of his office, and went into her bedroom to make sure that they were the only two in the house. His wife, I should say, was at work. So that's where it stands. How do I know what I'm saying is true? Because I hear a lot of things from a lot of people. Well, I have down here a drawer full of evidence from the young boy in Australia, which, again, I've been able to verify. So that pretty much brings you up to date. At this point, I am trying to find a reputable demonologist to help me understand the nature of the demon, and an expert in ritual magic to help me understand how these three were trapped and how to release them. So you're pretty much caught up. That's Ghost Adventures Aftermath. I'm currently working on putting everything together to show you in the future all the evidence, including the portraits of the people when they were alive. But that's a little ways away. So anyway, I'm also planning on doing a documentary in which I'm going to be interviewing not only the family in Australia, but the family in Baltimore, as well as several other people, such as my friend Melanie, Larry Dutro, and others who've had their own personal experiences with the doll. Until then, keep watching. As I've said many times before, I do these on the fly. As you probably figured out, don't pre-plan, don't pre-script, don't do any of that. In fact, I record these on my Samsung 5 camera and then load it directly up onto YouTube without any editing, except for maybe a little trimming to save time. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I'll be doing more of these. But that's really what's been going on up until now. There's been a few other things, and I'll discuss them in other videos in the near future. Thanks for watching. And please pray for the family in Australia, the family in Baltimore, and for me as well. Thanks again.